The most invasive animal destroying the planet are not human, but billionaires. And these guys right here. Since those greedy humans have already had so much attention and power, today let's focus on these animals instead. The brown tree snake. If your biggest fear is getting bitten in the balls by a snake while sitting on the toilet, then this place is not for you. The brown tree snake is a mildly venomous snake native to Australia, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea, but they were accidentally introduced to Guam, a self-governing island of the USA, in the 1940s through U.S. military transports after World War II. Guam had a huge problem waiting for them. The island had no native snake predators, and its wildlife had evolved in a world where climbing snakes were not a major threat. These native animals had no reason to develop defenses against something that had never existed in their world, and by the time the threat arrived, there was no time to adapt. As a result of abundant vulnerable prey resources on Guam, the absence of natural predators, and other population controls, brown tree snake populations reached unprecedented numbers. These bastards wiped out 10 out of the 12 forest bird species native to Guam and 2 of its 11 native lizard species, slowly destroying Guam's ecosystem. The brown tree snake's impact extends beyond ecological destruction. It has taken a serious toll on Guam's economy as well. The snake's habit of climbing electrical infrastructure has caused nearly 2,000 power outages over a 20-year period, with larger outages capable of shutting down the entire island and costing millions of dollars in lost revenue. Today, it is estimated that there are approximately 2 million brown tree snakes on Guam. The authorities are fighting back by using helicopters to drop thousands of dead mice onto the trees for the snakes to eat, of course with painkiller glue on the free meal, causing the snakes to die soon after eating them. Not sure it will help, but for now, remember to double-check what's inside your toilet while you're in Guam. The Burmese Python. Oh, Everglades, Florida, the territory of the yoink guy. The #1 enemy of the Burmese python, which is also one of the most invasive species destroying the Everglades ecosystem. The Burmese python, or swamp puppy, is one of the largest snakes in the world, only behind the terrifying anaconda and reticulated python. Native to Southeast Asia, but somehow they made their way to Florida, likely through the exotic pet trade, starting in the 1970s and 80s. Then their spread was exacerbated by Hurricane Andrew in 1992, which destroyed a breeding facility for Burmese pythons. These 4-meter and 80-kilogram snakes love eating just about anything that moves and leave no crumbs. I mean, a single python was found with 3 deer in its stomach. So that's why, since Burmese pythons appeared in the Everglades, surveys show that mammal populations here have declined by up to 99%. Raccoons, possums, and bobcats are down over 85%. Marsh rabbits and foxes have effectively vanished. Burmese pythons have effectively conquered the Florida Everglades. In order to protect the Everglades ecosystem, Florida came up with a plan, holding annual python hunting challenges and paying bounty hunters to get rid of invasive snakes. Today, many people in Florida hunt these snakes as a full-time job, earning as much as $150 for every 8-foot snake they catch. But it's far from easy work. Burmese pythons are masters of camouflage and hide and seek, so there is a chance that they will see you first, then slowly crush you before you could even spot them, unless you're the yoink guy, the European rabbit. Australia's war with rabbits is one of the most devastating ecological disasters in recorded history. It all began in 1859, when Thomas Austin, a wealthy English settler, imported just 24 wild rabbits from England and released them onto his property, intending to hunt them for sport. What seemed like a harmless hobby quickly spiraled out of control. With no natural predators on the continent, the rabbits bred at an extraordinary rate. Those original 24 animals eventually multiplied into an estimated 10 billion, a population explosion that brought Australia's ecosystem to its knees. The rabbits consumed vegetation at such a massive scale that native animals were left with almost nothing, triggering widespread habitat collapse across the country. Australians fought back the only way they knew how: hunting. But no matter how many rabbits were killed, the numbers barely moved. It became clear that conventional methods were useless against a population this size, so the Australian government turned to science. In the 1950s, authorities released the myxoma virus, a pathogen that specifically targeted rabbits. It worked, wiping out a significant portion of the population. But rabbits are resilient, and over time they developed immunity, forcing scientists back to the drawing board. In the 1980s, a second biological weapon was deployed: rabbit hemorrhagic disease. Far more aggressive than the first, it killed within just 48 hours and eliminated up to 90% of rabbits in many regions. Yet history repeated itself. The rabbits adapted once again. Today, that cycle of outbreak and adaptation continues. Despite everything, Australia is still home to over 200 million rabbits, and the damage they cause shows no signs of stopping. Cane toad. The invasive cane toad is one of the most destructive animals on the planet, capable in many cases of single-handedly collapsing entire ecosystems. Native to South and Central America, the species has been introduced to various parts of the world through human activity, but nowhere tells that story more painfully than Australia. Sugarcane had been commercially grown in Queensland since the 1860s, but by the 1880s this industry began facing a serious and growing threat when sugarcane plants were being damaged by the larvae of cane beetles. A government entomologist was convinced the cane toad was the answer to Queensland's crisis in the sugar industry, as they had reportedly solved similar beetle problems in other countries. So, in 1935, 102 cane toads were deliberately released into the Australian wild with one job only: to control the native cane beetles that were destroying sugarcane crops in Queensland. As it turned out, the cane toad will eat almost anything: birds, insects, reptiles. But the one thing they showed zero interest in was the cane grub. In fact, studies found the toads would sooner rummage through trash than touch the very pest they were brought in to eliminate. This genius idea aged like milk. Today, Australia is home to an estimated 200 million cane toads, and the population continues to grow. Their skin secretes bufotoxin, a poison potent enough to kill most animals that attempt to eat them. Native predators that evolved alongside non-toxic prey have no defense. Quolls, goannas, freshwater crocodiles, and multiple snake species have suffered massive population crashes after cane toads invaded their habitat. A goanna that eats a cane toad will likely die. Some species have declined by over 90% in areas where the toads have arrived. The toads also outcompete native frogs for food and breeding sites. They eat native insects, small reptiles, bird eggs, and even smaller frogs. Every method of control has failed at scale: trapping, fencing, biological agents, all unable to contain a population of hundreds of millions spread across an entire continent. Australia's cane toad problem has no solution in sight. Cats are beloved pets. They are companions, internet celebrities, and tiny household weirdos that sleep in boxes even when you buy them expensive beds. And yet, by almost every measure, cat is the deadliest invasive animal on the planet. We really should have seen this coming. The story begins in the 18th century Australia, when cats arrived on European ships to keep rat and mouse populations in check. Practical enough. But cats, being cats, eventually decided that the vast Australian outback suited them far better than life aboard a ship or inside a home. They went feral, they bred, and with no natural predators and an abundance of prey, their numbers exploded. Today, Australia's feral cat population is estimated anywhere between 2 and 10 million. And it's still growing. The damage they have caused is staggering. Native species that evolved over millions of years with no defense against such an efficient predator have been wiped out or pushed to the edge of extinction. Around 1 million native birds and reptiles are killed every single day. Over 1 billion animals every year. No other invasive species on Earth comes close. Australia's response has been a mix of desperate and creative. Poison bait programs target high-density feral populations. In some regions, hunters are paid bounties, $10 per cat scalp, to bring numbers down. And in a move that says everything about how serious the situation has become, authorities have fenced off a 27-mile zone with electric fencing, creating a cat-free sanctuary where native wildlife can survive. A nature reserve that, from the outside, looks a lot like a maximum security prison. The cruel irony is that we brought them here. We invited them in, let them roam, and are now spending millions trying to undo the consequences. The deadliest invasive animal in the world didn't sneak up on us. It rode here on our ships and slept at the foot of our beds. The feral pigs. If feral cats are Australia's nightmare, feral pigs are America's. An estimated 9 million roam across at least 35 states, and their population grows by around 20% every year. No other invasive animal in the United States causes quite as much damage, in quite as many ways all at once. The destruction they leave behind is hard to overstate. A single group of feral pigs can tear through an entire crop field in a single night, rooting through soil with powerful snouts, devouring corn, wheat, rice, and peanuts without distinction. But agriculture is just the beginning. They eat ground-nesting bird eggs, deer fawns, lambs, sea turtle eggs, salamanders, and snakes. Their constant rooting shreds native vegetation, accelerates erosion, and muddies waterways. They carry at least 30 diseases and 37 parasites, posing a genuine threat to livestock and humans alike. The total agricultural damage in the U.S. alone exceeds $2.5 billion every year. What makes them so difficult to deal with is the combination of intelligence, adaptability, and reproductive speed. Feral pigs thrive equally in forests, swamps, grasslands, and suburban edges. They learn quickly and adjust to almost any environment, and they breed relentlessly. Females can produce 2 litters per year with up to 12 piglets each. Hunting them, the most obvious solution, barely makes a dent. Experts estimate that to simply keep the population stable, not reduce it, just stop it from growing, you would need to remove 75% of all feral pigs every single year. That number has never been reached. So the population keeps climbing, the damage keeps compounding, and the US is still searching for an answer to a problem that, much like the pigs themselves, refuses to stay contained. You see something similar in each case? Yeah, behind every invasive species is a human, yoinking them from their native habitat, then putting them in some strange place. Maybe the most dangerous invasive species is often not the animal itself. It is the human habit of treating ecosystems like they are some simple game. Like what you see? Hit subscribe if you are interested in seeing more. It's free and it genuinely helps this channel keep going. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.